On the news, court rejects Ojikalu's request for post-conviction bail. Judge withdraws from Omoyele's arrest trial over alleged bias. And justice for Khashoggi as court sentenced 5 to death over journalist murder. A warm welcome to News Now. I am Fidelia Aguncha. We begin with the judiciary. A federal high court in Lagos has turned down a post-conviction bail application filed by former governor of Abia State, Orjiu's Kalu. Ruling on Kalu's application on Monday, Justice Mohammed held that the former governor's motion for bail cannot be given any attention when his appeal against his conviction has not been heard. He therefore ordered that the former governor be remanded in prison until his appeal has been heard by the court. Kalu, who is also a lawmaker, had filed an application for post-conviction bail pending his appeal against his jail sentence based on health grounds, which he said the medical facilities in the prison could not handle. He also informed the court of his role as chief whip of the Senate, that the interest of his constituent would be in jeopardy if he was kept behind bars. Kalu was earlier this month sentenced to 12 years in prison after he was found guilty of fraud to the tune of 7.56 billion naira. And still with the judiciary, Justice Ahmed has recused himself from hearing any suits concerning Omoyele Sowore, convener of the Revolution Now protest. A fundamental human rights enforcement suit instituted by Sowore seeking an order for his release from custody from the Department of State Services was brought before Justice Mohammed for hearing. But at the hearing of the case on Monday, Justice Mohammed announced his withdrawal from the matter, saying he took the decision as a result of 2 publications by Sahara Reporters accusing him of bias. Sahara Reporters is an online news platform owned by Sowore. The judge added that he would return the case file to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court on the grounds that justice is rooted in confidence. Justice Mohammed further stressed that there have been issues with the news outfit in the past, insisting that it would only be right if he hands off the case. Well, to security matters now, the Nigerian Army has debunked reports that some communities in northeast Nigeria are under the stronghold of the Boko Haram insurgent. The defense headquarters reacted to the report at a press conference held in Abuja on Monday. This next report has details.
Last week, Borno State Governor Babangana Zulum raised alarm on increasing attacks by Boko Haram insurgents in communities in the state. The governor said despite claims by the federal government and the military that the terror sector has been totally decimated, they have continued to launch attacks on towns and villages in the region. To address these claims, the defense headquarters has organized this conference. They agree that the Boko Haram sect still carries out attacks, but insist that the terrorists have been pushed into hiding.
Boko Haram and ISWAP have been decimated, they've been depleted, and they've been pushed into what we call the Tumbus. The Tumbus are the islands between Nigeria and the neighboring countries of Chad, Niger, and Cameroon, from where they have their enclave, so to speak, where they're hibernating, and from where they come out, infiltrate the public, and carry out attacks on soft targets. Boko Haram is not holding any inch of our territory.
Colonel Nwachukwu also assured that the military is doing all within its power to totally eradicate the insurgents and free captives.
Kidnappings are some of those tactics that terrorists and insurgents adopt to want to raise funds to support their illicit activities. It's an international thing. And unfortunately, a number of persons that are very dear to our hearts. We still have the case of Leah there. And I want to assure you that troops of Operation Lafia Dole are very, very relentless in ensuring that these people are rescued. Round the clock, there are regular, aggressive, robust patrols, and there are rescue missions that are conducted almost on daily basis
Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai also re-echoed the Army's commitment to protecting lives and properties. Speaking at the commissioning of a new accommodation for its personnel in Abuja, Buratai urged community leaders to collaborate with the force to ensure lasting success in the anti-insurgency war.
The Nigerian Army will continue to be professionally responsive in tackling the security challenges in the country. Accordingly, no stone will be left unturned in our effort to rid the country of criminals and terrorists. I therefore solicit the cooperation and support of our host communities, particularly the leaders and the youths, for harmonious coexistence. This is the reality. We must live together and we must support each other.
Since the start of December, suspected Boko Haram insurgents have attacked various communities in northeast Nigeria, including Sunday's ambush in Borno State, which left 4 people killed and 5 aid workers abducted. In spite of these pockets of attacks, the army is giving the assurances that they are on top of the matter. Abisola Adebayo, TV360, Nigeria.
Meanwhile, West African leaders have been meeting to find a lasting solution to growing terrorist attacks by suspected Boko Haram insurgents in the region. The meeting, which held in Abuja, was on the occasion of the 56th ordinary session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government. The leaders also discussed other sub-regional challenges and came up with recommendations to address them.
Remind us of the urgency to build an enduring security partnership to confront and defeat the evil of cross-border terrorism. It will accelerate the attainment of our regional aspirations for sustainable peace, security, stability, and inclusive economic growth. To achieve this, we must put our people at the heart of our policies and actions.
To definitely defeat and eradicate terrorism, we must complement the military and security approaches with developmental approaches that address the root causes of this scourge. In this regard, ECOWAS will continue to enhance collaboration with ECOWAS, the G5 Sahel, the LCBC, especially its Governors Forum, and other partners within the framework of the UN Integrated Strategy for the Sahel, UNIS, towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals and long-term stabilization.
A group of northern elders have constituted an 11-man committee to reconcile the crisis between Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje and Emir of the state Mohammed Sanusi II. The committee is chaired by former military head of state Abdul Salami Abubakar and also consists of 2 state governors, Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti and Aminu Masari of Katsina, as well as 8 prominent northerners. Details of the reconciliatory committee were contained in a statement signed by Adamu Fika, the Waziri Fika of Yobe State. Fika said the new committee was formed to intervene in the crisis with a view to bringing about full reconciliation and effective resolution of the matter. The crisis stemmed from Governor Ganduje's decision to create 4 new emirates in Kano State and appointed first-class emirs for them, thereby whittling down the power of Emir Sanusi II. Moving on, the Executive Director of Human Resources for Human Rights and Civic Education, Ibrahim Zikirullahi, has condemned the 37 billion naira approved for the National Assembly renovation project. In a chat with TV360 Nigeria, Zikirullahi described the move as a case of misplaced priorities. He added that such huge amounts of money should be channeled into important aspects of the economy.
It is indefensible as far as I'm concerned. They can always come up with any ways to justify all those kind of humongous amount they are appropriating to themselves. For me, the last National Assembly did not cry over not renovation, if that is the issue. You and I'm sure, will have opportunity to also go into the assembly complex. We see the assembly. Is it looking like something that that is begging for renovation? So for me, I said that it is like a part on the back of the legislature. They ought to seek the opinion of Nigeria. What are your priorities? What do we want to do? In a country that is enmeshed in debt, I don't think that is a right thing to do. 37 billion naira, if you take 1 billion naira to each of the state of the federation, plus FCT Abuja, in terms of creating jobs, we can go a long way in reducing youth unemployment in this country, and by extension, reducing insecurity in this country. So for me, it is misappropriation by whatever definition anyone wants to give to it.
The United States of America has added Nigeria to a special watch list of countries that had engaged in or tolerated a severe violation of religious freedom. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said Cuba, Nicaragua, and Sudan were also added to the list. Pompeo explained that the protection of religious freedom is a top priority for the Trump administration foreign policy and will work diligently to promote religious freedom and combat abuses. Meanwhile, the Nigerian government has rejected the profiling. A statement by the Minister of Information and Culture, Mohammed, said the tag is birthed from disgruntled politicians who intend to discredit the Buhari-led administration. Well, it's a few days to Christmas, and Nigerians have been expressing their thoughts on the festive season. Our correspondent Tunji Oye has been speaking to residents in Abuja, the nation's capital, on their expectations for Christmas. Here's what they've been saying.
This is Federal Secretariat in Abuja. Civil servants are still actively at work few days to Christmas. While some Nigerians are already in the mood of the season, some say there is nothing special about the festive period, citing weak economy as a major hindrance to the celebration.
Economy it's impacting, but a little bit. When I mean a little bit is, definitely now it's not everyone will not be able to do the things you would have loved to do. You wouldn't be able to spend as much as you'd have loved to spend because you don't know what might happen, especially in this kind of economy.
Nigeria economy, it's not so bad as we think it is. For the common man, they might perceive it as poor, but for the other classes, it might just be fair enough. But for myself, I think it's a thing of the mind. Christmas is all about your mindset. Whether the economy is good or bad or just marks, it's just okay for me. Christmas is all about your mindset. I celebrate every day. Every day is just good for me.
In the past few years, you will feel the Christmas by now. All the streets will be decorated. The crowd you will see, the activities, even the people hawking. But if you look around, you see that the people are so scanty around. And even in the pocket now, I'm a federal civil servant. Up to now, I have not seen money to my salary. In the past, it was not like this. But we are trusting God that maybe later in the day or sometime tomorrow, we'll get some money so that we'll celebrate the Christmas. But without that, the most important thing is that the Christ has been born, and then maybe we'll try and buy rice and some meat for the children to eat.
Though there are slight increase in prices of items, especially foodstuffs and other things, Nigerians are optimistic that the year 2020 will be better off. From Abuja, Tunji Oye, TV360 News.
Well, in the spirit of Christmas, the Center for Research and Information Management, as well as Media Development, CRIMD, has created a 12-foot-tall Christmas book tree, the first ever in the world. The tree was showcased at the center's public library located at Ejigbo Idimu area of Lagos, southwest Nigeria. Our correspondent was there and now reports.
Fair tree imitations are a common feature everywhere during the Christmas season. But what is not regular is a Christmas tree grown from books like this one. Mounting ladders and chairs, book lovers painstakingly pile up books of different sizes and genres. After 2 hours, 15 minutes of serious work with over 5,000 books, the world's biggest Christmas book tree is created, measuring about 12.2 feet. In 2016, the center created a similar tree which was 9.5 feet tall, The director of CRI-MMD says this achievement is no small feat. He explains that the whole idea is to add fun to reading experience at the public library.
The general belief that people have is that library is meant only for reading. But we're trying to create a situation to let the world understand that beyond reading, there's also a lot of entertainment in the library. And we are in this season, the Christmas season, and we thought about it and said, okay, why don't we do something unique that will go in with the season that we belong to? Besides the fact that in 2016 we did a similar thing, we built a Christmas tree in 2016, we felt it's time for us to do something much more bigger, better than what we did in 2016. I'm looking forward that maybe in 2020 or 2021, we'll probably be going much more higher, maybe to 15 or 20 feet.
Some authors whose books are featured, as well as volunteers who contributed to building of the historic tree, also shared their excitement.
It's absolutely exciting to be a part of this, and not just being a part of this, that my book is also a part of it too. This should be an incentive to people to want to read more, because our current generation, they don't like reading. See the excitement that this has generated, and the fact that there are so many books there, including books of Nigerian authors, is absolutely exciting.
The idea of building a Christmas tree out of books is just a way to encourage people to read more, and we also trying to raise awareness for the library too. So there's a library here, and there is more than enough book for you to come and read anytime you like.
Having a Christmas tree made of books is not something you see every day like that. It's extraordinary. And knowing Dr. Raphael James, I've known him for 2 years now. He has been a man who comes up with extraordinary ideas. He makes reading looks like fun. It makes it seamless, like an extension of yourself. So this is just one of the many things he does. It's more like our own small town hero. So it would be an honor to add a building block to his skyscraper.
In addition to this, originator of the Book Tree Initiative, Raphael James, also donates books to NGOs and schools to enable them set up their own libraries.
My target is by the end of December 2019, I would have donated 40,000 books across Nigeria. I am presently on 38,900 plus. I think I have about 1,037 or so books to do. These are my little contributions to make the reading habit remain a standing one and to make Nigeria great.
The CRI-MMD Free Public Library was established in 2004 to provide free access to books and educational resources to the public. Starting with less than 100 books 15 years ago, the library now has over 40,000 books. Onyi Adekunle, TV360, Lagos.
News Now will continue in just a moment. Don't go away. Welcome back. Let's now talk business with Oyin Adekunle. Hello, Oyin.
Hi, Fidelia.
So I hear it's with great excitement that Nigerians welcome the news of the slash in ATM withdrawal fee. Could you tell us more?
Well, the excitement is actually not disturbing, actually. It's because Nigerians have hailed the recent decision of the Central Bank of Nigeria to reduce the withdrawal fee charge for the use of other banks' automated teller machines, that's ATM, from 65 naira to 35 naira. The 35 naira ATM fee, according to the CBN, should be imposed on customers after the third withdrawal within 1 month. The new development is part of the new guide to bank charges released by the Central Bank of Nigeria on Sunday, and this new directive takes effect from January 1st, 2020.
Yeah, it's actually better because sometimes you might need to withdraw more than like a lot, probably like 5 times or 6 times. And then if you end up calculating 65 naira times 6 times 7 is like a lot, because there's this, now when you're withdrawing money, there's sometimes you might not really have much. So that actually spoils the money that is left in your account, sure you get. And then somehow, even in the sense that, why can't it be actually lesser than
the price is actually is. It doesn't really make sense. So this reduction is actually a plus in the sense that it will encourage people to like use more of the cashless policy, because you know that even after your withdrawal, the money that's actually taken is not really much.
Yeah, is a welcome idea, because we have more people that are now using ATM machine due to this cashless policy. I just believe that is a new welcoming idea, because 65 naira for every ATM withdrawal is much for people that are withdrawing from not their own bank, that are using other banks. Those banks don't even put, they put a maximum of 13,000 naira, and they take 65 naira per every withdrawal. At least reducing it from 65 to 35 naira is a welcoming idea. At least we can see that they are doing something, but at least we still prefer if they can still reduce it, so if not to 10 naira to 20 naira, because of this cashless policy, we have more people, or we have more Nigerians that are using ATM, so that people will not be going around with cash.
I'll feel great, of course. We are all anticipating for more things. At least even the price of rice, food stuff can equally come down. Whatever can come down, it's a welcome development, not only ATM.
Electricity workers under the aegis of National Union of Electricity Employees, NUEE, have threatened to resume their recently suspended nationwide strike if the government fails to implement agreements reached with them. General Secretary of the Union, Joe Ajero, announced this at the 11th National Delegates Conference of the NUEE in Lagos. He said the agreement signed between the government and the union, which necessitated the suspension of the strike, should be implemented to avert a resumption of the action.
I think that there should be a rethink. If there is no rethink, in the next 3-4 years, the power sector will collapse. If there is no power plant being constructed now that will come into the grid, the power sector will collapse. And to avoid this collapse, there is need for a review.
We are here to say that, yes, we got a notification letter, and I want you to know that word, notification letter, after a decision had been taken by the NUEE. And we promptly responded to the notification letter about an action by asking them to engage with us, for us to agree on what the issues are first and what to do. Unfortunately, that engagement we sought was not granted. And even more unfortunately, the union NUEE went on with the action.
Let's take a short break now, and when we return, it will be time to review activities on the stock market. Please stay tuned. It's another unpleasant start at the NSE this week. The market resumed its bearish run, with the all-share index depreciating by 1.55% to close at 26,115 basis points, while the market capitalization of equities dropped by 198 billion naira to close the day at 12.6 trillion naira. Now, on the activity chart, we see that premium industry sectors dominated in terms of volume of shares traded, and that's 188.7 million units of shares worth 2.4 billion naira. And market breadth also closed negative, as MTN Nigeria led the pack of 14 losers at the end of today's session, followed by EcoBank, which recorded a 60 kobo drop to close at 6 naira today. Cement Company of Northern Nigeria also made the list of worst performers, as its share price went from 18 naira 65 kobo to 18 naira and 10 kobo today. And conversely, the price gainers were led by Nascon Allied PLC with a 55 kobo gain, an improved performance when compared with previous outlook. And good day also for WAPCO as well, closing at 14 naira from 13 naira 75 kobo in previous session. Julius Berger and Owando, actually Julius Berger continued continued trading on a positive note, consolidating on its previous 50 kobo price gain. And this time around, we see it increasing from 19 naira 50 kobo to 19 naira and 70 kobo. And that's actually a 20 kobo gain. And that's it for the NSE. But let's take a look at how trading was on foreign markets. FTSE is chalking up some gains. It's also a bullish market for Dow Jones and Nikkei, closing by 0.019% today. And that's it on business. It's back to you, Fidelia.
Oh, thank you, Lee, for that update to the foreign scene. A court in Saudi Arabia has sentenced 5 people to death for the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, a Washington Post columnist. According to the court, the men directly took part in the killing of Khashoggi. Meanwhile, 2 top personalities investigated over the killing were exonerated by the court. Khashoggi, who is a known critic of the Saudi government, was murdered in October 2018 during a visit to the Arab nation. The Saudi government had ordered a probe into his death after denying any involvement in it. And now to sports, the British government has called on football chiefs to intensify their efforts in ending racism in the sport. This is coming after Sunday's match between Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League was interrupted during the second half when Anton Rudiger complained of hearing monkey noises from spectators. Shortly after the stoppage, an announcement was made warning against racist behavior among spectators as it gets in the way of the game. Players of color are most times the target of racist chants during football games. FIFA has, however, devised various means to address the issue, including heavy fines on clubs whose fans promote racist comments. And that's it on News Now. Many thanks for watching. Bye for now.